Hey YouTube, welcome back to the channel. This video is my attempt at making the ultimate raised vegetable garden. This is part 1 of 2, so make sure you are subscribed so you won't miss out on this epic build. So in this first half, we're going to build the lower part of the vegetable garden, and in the second half, we're actually going to build a structure above to make it into a greenhouse. So let's go ahead and get started. Hey YouTube, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are going to be building a raised flower bed. It's not going to hold flowers. It's actually going to hold vegetables. My wife has been putting together a little vegetable garden, and they're all in their individual flower pots. I seen one online, but I didn't like the design of it, and then the price was just crazy. And I said, hey, you know what? I can build a better one than that. So let's go ahead and head to the store first so we can go get the rest of the wood that I need. I got a lot of it, but I'll go through a tool list and a parts list of everything you would need if you wanted to build your own raised flower bed, but I'm trying to make it really nice. So let's go ahead and head to the store and go get the equipment. All right, so I'm here at Lowe's right now, and for the first thing you're going to need are 4x4 posts. So my idea is to make the outside posts 4x4 and 1x6s to run in between the posts. I guess I'll have to draw it out to give you guys a good image of what it's going to look like, but let's look at the posts. So these are the posts 4x4. That is the price per post. I'm only going to make it 3 feet tall, so technically you can buy 2 of those to make the posts. Cut them in half and you'll get your height. I plan to make the unit 2 feet wide and 2 feet deep. That way you get more than enough room for whatever different types of varieties of vegetables you're going to grow. So these 6x12s right here, I'm going to get 4 of them, and that will be enough to do all 4 sides. 2 feet tall, 2 feet deep, 8 feet long, and roughly about a foot off the ground. So I found these decorative tops. And they're a little light that'll go on top of the 4x4 post. I think they'll be really nice accent for the part. That's pretty much what it looks like on top of the post. Now I'm gonna end up painting the post as well, but that's just an example of how it's going to look. For the base of the flower box, you can use any type of sheathing or floor you want. It can be treated or not. I guess the thickness kind of matters. You want it thick enough to support the dirt that's going to go in there, because you're going to end up putting a couple bags of dirt in there, probably about 10 bags of dirt. So it's going to be quite heavy once it's done, and it's not going to move due to weather or anything like that. So I'm probably going to end up choosing this. Right now, this is $47 for a sheet. It is what it is. Nothing you can do about that, but you see it can go all the way up to $60 for a sheet. So the last step is finding the paint that you want. So I went with a Valspar Solid. I don't really want to see wood grain. It's not really my thing to see the wood grain in the stain. This is not that type of project. I'm actually going with this color right here. My wife's going to have to deal with it because I'm building it, so I'm choosing the color. But yeah, so Valspar Solid, this is the price. It's not too bad. That should be more than enough for me to paint this amount of wood. So as you can see, this is all weather defense, 10-year warranty. I don't even know if this thing will be around for 10 years, but it should be well protected outside in the elements once I put this stuff on it. I just realized my tool bag is heavier than I thought. Okay, so we got all the wood, we got the paint, and all we got to do is start building. So I already got a lot of the 4x4s at home. That's why I didn't get them today. But I just wanted to show you what they look like, the 4x4s, but I already have more than enough from a project that I did previously. I actually got to keep some of the wood, and then I took some of the old posts from the other unit because from the deck that I took down because I knew I was going to use them. So let's go ahead and head to the house and let's start cutting some wood. All right, I set up my tent today. By the time I set it up, the sun had moved to the front side of the house, so it's not even sunny over here no more, which I'm fine with because I'll probably end up setting it up first thing in the morning because this is going to take at least 2 days for me to make it. Okay, so I have everything set up. This is the best setup that I have right now until I build my garage. But what I'm going to end up doing is creating 3-foot posts. So 24 inches or a little bit under because the 6x12s aren't actually 6 inches tall. So I'm going to be a little bit under. It's probably going to be 23 inches of depth that is going to be for dirt, somewhere around there, which gives me a foot, anywhere between a foot that I can make it off the ground. So if you consider the post, the cap is going to be on top. It's going to take maybe half an inch off that height. All these posts are going to be 36 inches long. Here's the other post, and the reason why I have to make it 36 inches long because that post is cut because it was on a deck. So it's 3 feet from there, so I'll just cut that and make it work. So here's all the wood. So I'll be cutting these. I actually had some spare pieces of treated too. So if anything, I'll figure out something to do with that. All right, I have all 4 of my posts. That's what that piece is looking like, but that's fine. I mean, I just won't use, this will be the bottom. I'll make this the bottom and make this side the top. So I got to cut these to length. So the board underneath is 8 feet long. So I got to make sure that measurement is okay for the sides. And I can always cut them down, but I can't extend them, of course. So when it comes to cutting these side panels, they're basically going to be stacked right on top of each other like this, 4 high. So as I stack them like this, I have a way that I'm going to join them. That's what I got the router bits for. So I'm going to do a plunge cut on the post to make sure these stay secure, and then I'll probably put a pocket hole drill right here, so just to make sure they stay secure, because once you put the dirt in, they're going to be kind of heavy. All right, my original plan would be considered the front and the back of the raised vegetable garden. I keep calling it a flower garden, but a vegetable garden, is I was going to go 2 feet wide, which is more than wide enough. But being that I have these boards and I got them in 12 feet long, I actually can go 3 feet wide. So if you cut that in half, that gives you basically 2 sections to grow 2 different types of vegetables in, and they'll have more than enough room and depth. This right here is going to be the height of the wall at 23 inches basically. So when you take a look at it, you got enough room for whatever type of plant that you're going to use. It has enough room of dirt. This is going to be the volume of dirt, or the height of the dirt from the side. All right, I've marked all the boards first so I can just cut them real quick, make it a little faster. So these are going to be 3 feet. These are basically the ends of the flower raised vegetable garden thingy, and should be an easy cut. So let's go ahead and cut them. This is basically what I'm trying to do. I want the wood, the sides, to basically sit in a groove, so I know it will definitely hold the weight. So I wanted to sit into a groove. That's why I got the router bits the other day. So on the 4 posts on 2 sides, they're going to be router grooves. Now, if you wanted to go simple, you could just nail it directly to the side. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I'm being a little bit more fancy. I do get that. But I want to make router grooves that they sit in, basically. So each one, they're not going to sit in individual grooves. I'm going to make one long groove down the side that the 23 inches is going to sit in. And it's going to be on this side and this particular side. So just being that the way that I'm making it, it's going to be a little bit more sturdy. Like I said, you don't have to, hopefully the wind is not being too much of a problem because it's really windy out here. You don't have to be that much of a stickler when it comes to how you actually put it together. You actually can just nail them to the side, just measure a certain distance out and nail them. But what I'm doing is gonna be a little bit more fancy, but you don't have to go that route. The second stage of this, after I finish actually putting it together, I wanna build a cage basically on top of it that I can put netting, fine netting, so bugs can't get to it. To keep birds out, definitely, but more so for the bugs, because like I said, this is going to be a raised vegetable garden, not just a flower bed. So we're going to eat the fruit, and I don't want bugs to be able to just get to it when they want. So I have all my pieces for the ends, 4 a piece, and those over there are all my sides, 4 a piece for each side. So first thing in the morning, we'll be back at it. We're not going to a part 2 of this video. We're going to do this all in one strong take because I believe I can finish it tomorrow and paint it. So I would just want to make sure I got all the tools that I need, or all the equipment that I need to put everything together, and we'll continue this in the morning. All right, we are back for the second day to finish the raised vegetable garden. I found all the parts to my router. I was testing it out yesterday. Just to give you an idea of what I'm trying to do, I need to make it a little bit bigger than this, but I found the parts that I needed so I can have the edge guide so I can start these router bits. And once I finish this section, I can start putting everything together. All right, so I've mapped out roughly pretty much where I want the groove to be. It's going to be at least 1/2 inch deep and basically 22 3/4 inches long. So all 4 of these planks will fit in this groove, and then I'll use a pocket hole to secure them. All right, all I have to do is transfer my measurements from one board, the groove, to the next board. So the easiest way to do it is just to match them up. Use a speed square to transfer that line. And this line is the top and the bottom. So I'll have this much room that it would actually be off the ground. And then from there, and so from here I got a particular measurement, 1 inch in and 2 1/4 inches over. And that right there will give them all the same height and the same distance from the ground. So when I put everything together, it's not shouldn't be wobbly. I say shouldn't be. There. All right, Malachi, bring me the last one. Okay, so my plan is to cut this groove. First, I'll start with a paddle bit, drill the hole. Then I got this already measured out, my guide measured out, so I know I'm gonna start on this edge, run down, then flip, start on this edge and run down. And I'm gonna have to, before I change the guide, I wanna run the right edge of all the beams, all 4 beams first, and then I'll come back, readjust, and run the guide for the second edge. See that? So as soon as I get a chance, I'll measure that depth and see what we're looking like.
That's not an inch. Now they got inch down.
All right, it did great as far as cutting the wood. So that depth that I went is actually okay. Do me a favor, cut the vacuum on. Okay, so I've cut the first one. Not as easy as I thought, I'm not gonna lie, but I do have a little bit of tolerance and I am getting the shape that I want basically. This board is damn near split down the center, but it's all right. Once everything is together, that's pretty much the look that I'm going for right there. And like I said, I'm gonna have a pocket hole to attach each one, but they're all gonna be in this groove, so it can't really go anywhere outside of that groove. So everything's looking good. Okay, so this is number 1. I messed up a little bit, didn't get the groove right. First time using a router, so forgive me. But this is number 2, got it a lot better. So what I'm doing is I'm starting with a pilot bit to get down to my depth and then plunging the router and basically getting this particular groove. So on this one, it fits a lot better and is a lot more precise. So much so that it stands out without me holding it. So that's exactly what I'm looking for right there. So I got 2, 4, 6 more cuts to go. All right, I'm finally on the last cut, 2 batteries later. Come to find out, I thought my nice Milwaukee brand new tool was weak, but actually I was plunging too deep for the initial cut, so I had to make 2 passes per channel each side. So four passes basically per channel. So now I'm gonna adjust it for the final 2 cuts, which I'm only going 3/4 of an inch deep. That's more than enough. I have this little lip right here that I have to cut off on both sides, and then it'll be done. All right, the last step before final installation, now that all 4 posts have their grooves in it for the sides and the ends to fit into, the last step I have to do is take each side and end, and I'm just gonna drill 1 pocket hole and put these 1 1/4 inch screws in, just as added support and stability. All right, I have to do the same thing on the longer sides, but I can't obviously stand them here on the table. So I'm gonna basically have to lay this thing down to get it to the desired effect that I want on the longer board. So there's 8 over there as well, 16 different holes. So let me go do that. All right, so everything has its pocket holes. Grooves are cut, pocket holes. So now we're at the part where we can start putting this bad boy together. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, let's bring everything over here. Get everything ready to put together. Let's go ahead and start with this one in the side. Now, if you wanted to do pocket holes, you don't have to use Craig's screws. You can use any type of screw, really, any type of wood screw. I just like how their screws are dig deep and kind of stay put, I should say. So now the question is, how should I do this? And one of the things I'm going for is I want all the screws on the inside. Okay. And I think what I'll do is I'll just start with this side and go to the other end and create the other side. And then I'm gonna have to flip it up to get it to stand correctly. But I think what I'll do is, okay, I think the idea is, because it's gonna be so big, is I'm just gonna have to start with the bottom side first. And once I get a complete square, which it doesn't have to be square, but once I get a complete square, I can stand it up and put the rest in pretty easy, I would assume. We might have to do some fighting, I don't know yet. Hopefully I'll have enough play once I put everything together to get the other parts in. I'm hoping. Okay. Now the big question is, can I do this? Instead of me risking destroying the whole thing, let me just get some help. Right, other than that weird looking beam right there, you basically get the basic idea of this particular unit. So I guess you can bring the dirt up as high as you'd like, but what I was thinking and why I decided to go that wide, because you can literally split it down the center and do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 to 10 different plants that you can have in this unit. So what I'm going to do now is put on the bottom. That's what that's for. So I got to rip that and then cut out the corners with my jigsaw, cut out this corner, and bada boom, bada bing, it'll be done. And that's going to go on the bottom. So that's why I got to cut out the corners. I've already ripped the bottom. longwise. Cut off a piece over there. And now I'm just making the corner notch for each side. I'm just going 1.5 inches. Some of them are 1 inch, but they're no bigger than 1.5 inches. Now the bottom doesn't have to be, what's the word I'm looking for? It doesn't have to be exact, because I got to put a liner in here, because this is going to be for vegetables, and you don't want this pressure treated wood touching your soil for vegetables. So I got to unfortunately go with plastic. Plastic is no better, but it's better than the chemicals that's in this pressure treated wood. You don't want this leaching into your vegetables, and next thing you know, you're eating this stuff in your fruit or vegetables. So I got to put a liner on, and the bottom is just to hold the dirt. All right, stepping in it for stability. It seems to be holding me just fine. So I assume it should be able to hold a couple 100 pounds of dirt. All right, I've got my last braces in, so for the side, now they're nice and sturdy. I could put more, it's really not gonna matter. The dirt lateral is not gonna be as crazy as the downward force, so it's not really that big of a deal. So now it's time to paint, and once I paint, everything will pretty much be done. This thing is extremely heavy too, but it's looking nice. Just to give you an idea of what it's looking like. So let's go ahead and paint it. And this is a stain paint. So it's for wood, it's for protecting wood. This is actually like a deck stain. Just in case anybody missed that part in the video. Watch what you spill. Come on, you got to push that brush on. Yeah, spread that brush out. Hold on, look, when you dip in, you can't just go. You got to make sure you're not spilling any. Then you come over here. You see how much that brush spreads out? You see that? See how much paint you got up in there? Look at all that. I can come all the way down here, I'm still painting. Keep going. That's better. Make sure you're not spilling any. Hold it up. Take it over. Take it over and put it on the wall, technically. So here is the final product, the way it sits right now, but it will change because I have another part that I want to add to it. We'll do that in another video. But as far as just getting it started and getting it to the point to where we can put some flowers in this thing, this is pretty much it. So here goes the posts that light up at night. So it's going to give 4 different, points of light at night for the flower garden. So it's going to look like a really nice accent piece versus just your bare bones vegetable garden. It's going to look better than just your bare bones vegetable garden. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to finish painting. I had Malachi doing some painting and he spilled a big, basically 75% of the paint. So I would have been able to finish the painting. So I'm going to have to go get another quart of paint to finish my accent pieces and put a second coat on. But as the way it sits right now, I got the first coat on and I just want to get a second coat on because that's deck stain and it's actually going to protect it. Okay, I'm pretty much done with this build for now. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to tackle this type of build, it's not really that hard to do. Anybody can do this. For all the great woodworkers out there, if you see me using bad technique, I'm still learning. I'm very much a student of woodwork and I absolutely respect you guys 100% that work with wood. And I'm trying to get to the point to where I'm at least better than a novice, I'd say. I really enjoyed doing this for my wife so she can get rid of that. This is my wife's current little greenhouse vegetable garden. So this is what she'll be moving to. And she helped me a little bit in some parts and did some cutting. So I hope you guys really enjoyed it. And I'll see you guys in whatever I'll be doing next, which will probably be soon another part to this build. Peace.